Lindsay here with Pilates On Demand. Today we are going to talk about neutral versus imprint spine. So I get a lot of questions about like how should the back be in each exercise, or what does your back do in Pilates? Typically we do two kinds of spines, which is either the neutral, we maintain the natural curve, or the imprint, where we flatten the low back to add more protection to the low back and really brace the abs. So we're going to talk about it, but I'm also going to have you grab a couple things so you can feel it in your own body. And next time you do your workout, you might be able to grasp the concept a little bit more and get more out of it. So I am using a pin or pencil or a penny, something that you can put underneath your low back to work the imprint spine. And then I'm using a small rolled up hand towel to work the neutral spine. So from a standing position, I'm gonna show you what it looks like, and then we're going to go into a bridge position. You can do it with me or just watch and then do it with me and repeat the series so you can get into it yourself. Okay, so standing on up. This is a neutral spine, guys. I'm keeping my arms out of the way. So you see how my low back has an arch to it, a little curve? That's the neutral, right? It goes into the body. Now when I send my butt, my tailbone towards the floor, and I pull my core in, it fills up the low back. So there's not as much of a curve. That is imprint. So let's go to neutral. I've got the natural curve. And then I'm going to lift my frontal hip points up towards my ribs to lengthen the low back. So I'm gonna just glide through that a couple times. If you were laying down on your back doing this, this would be the beginning of something called a pelvic curl. Neutral, we have the natural curve. Imprint, the low back would flatten, or the low back is filled up with the core. Okay, so now let's start with neutral spine. If you're going along with me, you're going to grab your hand towel, and we're gonna lay down on our back with the hand towel underneath the lower back where you had that little back bend. So like I said, you could watch the first time and then do it afterwards. So I'm in a bridge position. I've got my knees bent, that hand towel's right at my low back, and I'm gonna reach my arms up to the ceiling so you get a good view of this. So my butt is sitting on the floor. My low back, I can feel the towel, but I'm not pushing it down into the towel, right? I'm allowing that lift. And then the next thing I want to look at is the ribs. Now, just because we have an arch in the low back does not mean that the upper back is lifting and the ribs splay. So sometimes that is what I end up seeing when I cue a neutral spine, and maybe it's a little foreign to someone. They end up kind of back bending the entire spine. So we have an arch in the low back. You call it a little normal, natural back bend. Yet we want the ribs, where your bra strap or your back ribs are, this should not be able to happen. I should not be able to slide my hand there. So I'm gonna press my ribs down. But notice that when I did that, I didn't move my hips. So I'm gonna let the ribs lift. That's not what we want, that's not neutral. We want the ribs down. So let's start at the bottom of the spine. What are we feeling in our back? You should feel like your butt is down. It's pushing and grounding into the floor energetically. It's sitting down. You should feel like your low back is lifted, but your belly is tight. This is the other thing sometimes I see. Just because there's a natural curve doesn't mean I'm just like letting it all hang out. The core is still connected, and then your ribs are down. Okay, chest is down, shoulder blades are down. So let's go over that one more time. Neutral spine, we're maintaining the natural curves of the back. The butt is down. The low back has a slight curve. The ribs are down. The chest is open. The neck should have a natural curve, and the head is down. That is our neutral spine. Okay, and I'm keeping that hand towel there to just kind of guide my mind to where that natural space should occur. Okay, neutral spine could be more challenging to do some exercises in, like core work. So if you have a sensitive low back, I usually will work Imprint with you for a long time to build the core strength and protect the low back. So let's grab the pen now, or just something small, because you're gonna use it to like crush it. You're gonna crush your back down into it. So I got a pen. We're gonna lay back in that exact position, bend your knees, plant your feet, and find neutral. So you have your arch, your butt is down, slide the pen into that little gap, into that low back gap. Now make sure there isn't a gap behind the ribs. Okay, reaching the arms up so you can see. The movement's going to be from the pelvis. So I'm going to draw the front of the pelvis, where these hip bones are, up towards the front of my ribs. And I'm going to try to press my low back down into that pen. So see if you can feel it. So maybe you want something that's a little prickly or something so you can really feel you're stamping it down. Okay, so be careful when you move back to neutral that it isn't from your rib cage. This area should not move. I'm going to send my tailbone back into the floor and create my natural curve again. So now I have that little tunnel and I'm not crushing my pen. Okay, let's do that again. We're going to move the pelvis into something called a posterior tilt, and the lower back flattens. I'm pushing my back down right here. That is imprinted spine. Okay, move the pelvis back to neutral so the pen has space. Okay, the other thing about an imprint spine is not just from the pelvis, you also want to connect that core. So like I said, in neutral, you don't want your belly just like relaxed and hanging out. So pull the stomach down to press the low back into the pen, as well as do that posterior tilt, and then back to neutral. So let's just rock the hips back and forth. The lower abdominals shorten as we do the imprint. The ribs are stamped, and then the lower abdominals will lengthen a little bit. So notice how when I'm moving my pelvis, that it is not affecting the ribs. That's really important. We really try to keep that corseting action in the ribs during our Pilates exercises. Okay, so let's breathe with it. You're gonna exhale through the mouth and move into an imprinted spine. And then inhale through the nose and move into a neutral spine. Exhale, use your abs to fill up your low back as you flatten the spine. Press into your prop. Okay, keep the ribs connected. Inhale, create neutral. Let's do two more. Breathe out. Breathe in. One more. Breathe out. Breathe in. And relax. Okay, sit up. So, going over the difference between an imprinted spine and a neutral spine, I hope using these props were helpful to you. Repeat the video as many times as you need. And like I said, once you get a clear understanding of this, then maybe you'll be able to really feel the core work a little bit more, or different exercises a little bit more, or really just understand, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing in Pilates class. So, again, neutral spine, you have the little arch. Imprint spine, we're flattening the back, so there isn't space behind the back. Be careful of where the ribs move and that we keep that core connected. So I hope this class was helpful for you. Please let me know if you learned something in the comments, or if you have any other questions, maybe I can shoot a video on them. My name is Lindsay Bushman. This is Pilates On Demand. Please like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends, and I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.